Ladies and gentlemen, it's so wonderful to be here with all of you today. I want to start by reminding you of something incredibly important. Nobody is perfect. Yes, you heard me right. Nobody. Not a single one of us. In a world that constantly pressures us to be flawless, to present only our best selves to the world, we often forget the beauty of imperfection. We live in a society that celebrates achievements and perfection, but it is in our struggles, our mistakes, and our imperfections that we truly find who we are. We need to understand that imperfection is not something to be ashamed of. It's part of our human experience. Think about it. When we make mistakes, we learn, we grow, we evolve. Every wrong turn is a lesson in disguise. Every failure is an opportunity for growth, for us to get closer to the person we're meant to be. Now, here's the magic. When we embrace our imperfections, we open ourselves up to the most powerful force on earth, vulnerability. Vulnerability creates real, authentic connections between people. It allows us to understand and support each other on a deeper level. When we drop the act of perfection and just be who we are, we invite others to do the same. And this, my friends, is where true transformation happens. Not when we chase after an ideal of flawlessness, but when we strive for excellence. The goal should never be to be perfect, but to be excellent in our efforts, to constantly evolve, and to remain open to the lessons life has to offer. So let me remind you, nobody is perfect, and that's okay. It's what makes us human. It's what makes us real, and it's what allows us to live fully. Let's celebrate our imperfections. Let's learn from them. Let's be kind to ourselves and to others as we navigate this journey together. Because it's in the imperfection that we discover our true strength. In the world we live in, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that perfection is not just desirable, but expected. We are bombarded by images of flawless beauty, idealized lifestyles, and success stories that seem to have no flaws, no setbacks. Social media, the media, and even those around us often portray a picture of life where only the best is shown, leaving little room for the imperfect, the unpolished, or the struggling. This constant exposure to perfection can create an overwhelming pressure to live up to an impossible standard. But the truth is, nobody is perfect, and embracing this truth is the first step toward a healthier, more fulfilled life. When we think about perfection, we often associate it with something that is unachievable. Yet, many of us still try to reach it, believing that if we can just be perfect, whether it's in our appearance, our relationships, our careers, or our abilities, then we will be accepted, loved, or valued. But here's the catch. Striving for perfection can actually lead to dissatisfaction. Perfection is a moving target. As soon as we think we've reached it, we find another flaw, another aspect of our lives we need to improve. It's an endless cycle that leaves us feeling unworthy or inadequate, no matter how much we accomplish. The acceptance of imperfection is liberating. It allows us to let go of unrealistic expectations and instead focus on progress and growth. When we accept that we are not perfect, we open ourselves up to a more realistic, compassionate view of who we are. We are able to look at our mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than as failures. By accepting imperfection, we shift our focus from trying to be flawless to becoming better versions of ourselves. This process is far more rewarding, fulfilling, and sustainable than constantly striving for an unattainable ideal. Additionally, accepting our imperfections enables us to be more compassionate toward others. When we stop expecting perfection from ourselves, we start to realize that others are struggling with the same pressures. Everyone is on their own journey, and everyone has their own battles. By embracing our own flaws, we begin to see the humanity in others. Instead of judging or criticizing, we start to empathize. We create an environment where people can be real with each other, share their vulnerabilities, and grow together without the fear of being judged. It's important to note that accepting imperfection does not mean settling for mediocrity or giving up on growth. It's about releasing the expectation of being perfect while still striving to improve, to learn, and to evolve. It's about understanding that growth is a process, and it takes time. We are all works in progress, and that's okay. Every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating, because it means we are becoming more of who we are meant to be. In fact, some of the most incredible achievements and breakthroughs have come from people who embraced their imperfections and used them to fuel their growth. Think about the people who have changed the world. Many of them didn't start off perfect. They faced setbacks, made mistakes, and encountered failure. But they didn't let their imperfections stop them. Instead, they learned from them, adapted, and continued on their path. This is the essence of true success, not perfection, but perseverance in the face of imperfection. In our personal lives, when we embrace imperfection, we allow ourselves to be more authentic. We no longer feel the need to wear a mask or put on a fade. We can show up as our true selves, knowing that it's okay to have flaws, to make mistakes, and to not have it all figured out. This authenticity not only allows us to live more honestly, but it also encourages others to do the same. We create a culture where it's okay to be vulnerable, to ask for help, and to lean on each other. In the end, accepting that nobody is perfect is not about lowering our standards or accepting failure. It's about freeing ourselves from the unrealistic expectations of perfection and embracing the beauty of growth and self-improvement. It's about acknowledging that we and everyone around us are perfectly imperfect. This mindset creates space for creativity, innovation, connection, and ultimately, a more fulfilling life. The beauty lies not in being perfect, but in being authentic, learning from our mistakes, and growing into the person we are meant to be. Mistakes and failures are often seen as setbacks, obstacles to be avoided at all costs. But in reality, they are the very things that shape our growth and development. Mistakes are not only inevitable, but necessary for personal transformation. They provide us with the tools we need to learn, adapt, and ultimately succeed. Instead of fearing mistakes, we should embrace them as an essential part of the journey toward becoming the best version of ourselves. When we make mistakes, it's easy to feel discouraged or disappointed. We might think that we've failed, or worse, that we're not good enough. But the truth is, failure is rarely final. It's a natural part of the process, and every successful person has encountered it along the way. What sets them apart is not that they never made mistakes, but that they used their mistakes as stepping stones toward their goals. They didn't let their failures define them. Instead, they allowed those moments to fuel their determination and resilience. Each mistake we make carries with it an important lesson. Whether it's a misstep in our personal lives, a mistake at work, or something in our creative endeavors, the experience provides insight into what went wrong and how we can do better next time. Every failure teaches us something about ourselves. It shows us our weaknesses, reveals where we need to grow, and provides clarity on how to approach things differently in the future. Without mistakes, we would never learn. The most profound lessons often come from the toughest experiences. The process of learning through failure forces us to reassess our strategies, develop new skills, and discover strengths we never knew we had. Moreover, mistakes foster resilience. Every time we face a setback and get back up, we build our emotional and mental strength. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from difficulties, to persevere even when things don't go according to plan. It's the quality that allows us to keep moving forward, even when we feel like we failed. Every time we confront failure head-on and keep going, we reinforce the belief that we can overcome challenges. Resilience teaches us that our mistakes do not define us. Our response to them does. It's how we learn to handle failure with grace and determination that ultimately shapes our future. One of the most important aspects of embracing mistakes is reframing the way we view them. Instead of seeing them as evidence of our inadequacy, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective allows us to approach challenges with a mindset of curiosity and openness. When we make a mistake, instead of saying, "I'm a failure," we can say, "What can I learn from this?" This change in mindset encourages us to take risks, try new things, and push ourselves outside of our comfort zones. Without the fear of failure holding us back, we are free to explore new possibilities and discover new paths. It's also crucial to recognize that making mistakes doesn't make us weak or incompetent. In fact, it takes courage to admit when we've made a mistake and to take responsibility for it. Owning our mistakes shows strength, maturity, and a willingness to grow. It also helps us develop a sense of humility. We realize that we are not infallible, that we don't know everything, and that it's okay to make errors along the way. This humility allows us to remain open to feedback, to learn from others, and to continue evolving. Furthermore, mistakes create an opportunity to build a deeper sense of empathy. When we experience failure, we begin to understand that everyone makes mistakes and that it's a normal part of being human. This realization fosters compassion, both for ourselves and for others. We become less judgmental, more understanding, and more patient with those around us who are also navigating their own challenges. In turn, this helps us build stronger, more supportive relationships, grounded in the understanding that we are all works in progress. In the end, the path to success is not a straight line. It's a winding road filled with bumps, detours, and yes, mistakes. But each mistake holds the potential to move us closer to our goals. Rather than seeing mistakes as failures to avoid, we should view them as the building blocks of success. They are the experiences that shape us, teach us, and ultimately lead us to the life we want to live. Embracing mistakes is not just about accepting imperfection. It's about recognizing that our failures have value and they are an essential part of our journey toward growth and fulfillment. Embracing our flaws and vulnerabilities is one of the most powerful actions we can take to foster genuine human connections. Vulnerability often gets a bad reputation in a world that prizes strength, confidence, and control. We are taught to be self-sufficient, to present an image of success, and to avoid showing any signs of weakness. But the truth is, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is a profound source of strength. It is in our willingness to be vulnerable that we allow ourselves to connect with others on a deeper level, to show up authentically, and to experience the richness of true, meaningful relationships. When we open ourselves up and show our imperfections, we invite others to do the same. Vulnerability creates a space for honesty, for sharing not just our triumphs, but also our struggles. It's in those moments of openness that real empathy is born. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we break down the walls that often separate us from others. We create an environment where people feel safe to express their true selves, to be seen for who they really are, without the fear of judgment or rejection. This kind of connection fosters trust, understanding, and compassion. Many of us are afraid of vulnerability because we fear being judged or rejected. We worry that if we show our true selves, we will not be accepted or loved. But in reality, it is often the opposite that happens. When we are vulnerable, we give others the permission to be vulnerable too. We allow them to see that they are not alone in their struggles, that they don't have to hide behind a mask of perfection. In opening ourselves up, we create a space where others feel safe to do the same, and this leads to deeper, more authentic connections. Vulnerability fosters a sense of belonging, of being truly seen and understood for who we are, flaws and all. It's also important to recognize that vulnerability is not about oversharing or exposing every detail of our lives. It's about being honest and open about our feelings, our struggles, and our fears in a way that is authentic and respectful. Vulnerability is about showing up as our true selves without trying to hide behind a facade or pretend to be something we are not. It's about allowing ourselves to be imperfect, to acknowledge that we don't have all the answers, and to be open to growth and learning. When we embrace vulnerability, we also create the opportunity for deeper personal growth. It requires courage to open ourselves up, to face our fears, and to confront the parts of ourselves that we may have kept hidden for a long time. But in doing so, we allow ourselves to heal, to move forward, and to become stronger. Vulnerability is not about being weak. It is about being willing to show up fully, even when we are unsure or afraid. It is through this process of self-exploration and acceptance that we find our true strength. Moreover, vulnerability can lead to greater creativity and innovation. When we allow ourselves to take risks and fail without fear of judgment, we open up new possibilities. Creativity often flourishes in environments where people feel free to express their ideas without the pressure of perfection. When we embrace vulnerability, we are more willing to take risks, to try new things, and to step outside of our comfort zones. It is in those moments of uncertainty that the most innovative ideas and breakthroughs occur. In relationships, vulnerability is the foundation of intimacy. Without vulnerability, relationships remain surface level, and true connection is never fully realized. Vulnerability allows us to share our dreams, our fears, our insecurities, and our desires with others. It creates a space for mutual understanding and compassion, and it deepens the bond between individuals. When we are able to be vulnerable with those we care about, we build trust and create a foundation of honesty and openness. Vulnerability allows us to truly see and be seen, to share not just our best selves, but our most authentic selves. As we embrace vulnerability in our own lives, we must also remember to be compassionate with others. Just as we seek acceptance for our flaws, we must extend the same grace to others. Vulnerability is not about perfection, and neither is the way we respond to others' vulnerability. It is about creating a supportive and nurturing environment where people feel safe to express their emotions and experiences without fear of judgment. By embracing the vulnerability of others, we show them that they are worthy of love and acceptance, just as they are. Ultimately, embracing vulnerability is an act of courage and self-compassion. It is about accepting our imperfections and recognizing that they do not define us. It is through vulnerability that we discover the power of true connection, both with ourselves and with others. When we allow ourselves to be open, authentic, and real, we experience the depth and richness of life in a way that would be impossible if we were constantly hiding behind a mask of perfection. Vulnerability is not something to fear, but something to embrace as a pathway to deeper connection, personal growth, and meaningful relationships. Striving for excellence rather than perfection is a powerful mindset that can lead to greater success, fulfillment, and personal growth. While the pursuit of perfection can often be paralyzing, the pursuit of excellence encourages progress, innovation, and continual improvement. Perfection, by its very nature, is unattainable. It's an elusive, ever-moving target that leaves us constantly chasing something we can never truly reach. Excellence, on the other hand, is about doing the best we can with the resources, skills, and knowledge we have at any given time. It's about pushing ourselves to be better, to do better, and to consistently strive to improve while accepting that there will always be room for growth. When we focus on excellence, we free ourselves from the suffocating expectations of perfectionism. Perfectionism can often lead to self-doubt, frustration, and burnout. It can create an environment where failure is seen as a personal flaw rather than an opportunity for learning and growth. When we chase perfection, we may become so focused on avoiding mistakes that we miss out on the valuable lessons they offer. We might also become overly critical of ourselves, never feeling good enough no matter how much we achieve. This constant pressure to be perfect can lead to anxiety, self-criticism, and a lack of satisfaction in our accomplishments. Excellence, however, encourages us to aim high, but it also recognizes that setbacks and mistakes are part of the journey. When we pursue excellence, we give ourselves permission to fail, learn, and keep moving forward. We focus on growth and improvement, not on achieving a flawless end result. Excellence is about doing the best we can, continuously evolving and challenging ourselves to reach new heights. It's about giving our best effort, not necessarily being the best, and recognizing that progress is often incremental. Another key aspect of striving for excellence is the emphasis it places on the process rather than the outcome. When we pursue excellence, we become more focused on the journey than the destination. We engage deeply with the work we are doing, putting in the effort to improve and refine our skills along the way. This focus on the process can bring a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, regardless of the final result. The beauty of excellence lies in the small, consistent steps we take every day to better ourselves. Every task, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. This shift in mindset also helps to reduce the fear of failure. When we focus on excellence, we understand that mistakes and challenges are part of the learning process. Instead of fearing failure, we embrace it as a valuable teacher. We start to see failure not as something to avoid, but as a necessary component of success. Every failure provides feedback, teaches us something new, and brings us one step closer to mastery. By focusing on excellence, we can take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them without letting those failures define us or hold us back. Furthermore, striving for excellence encourages us to develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication, hard work, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset understand that talent is not fixed and that success comes from effort and learning. This mindset helps us to view challenges as opportunities to grow rather than insurmountable obstacles. When we pursue excellence, we recognize that our potential is limitless, and the only way to unlock that potential is through continuous effort and a willingness to learn and adapt. Excellence also fosters resilience. It teaches us that setbacks and difficulties are not roadblocks, but stepping stones on the path to improvement. When we pursue excellence, we learn how to bounce back from adversity, to persevere in the face of challenges, and to keep pushing forward even when things don't go as planned. The pursuit of excellence is not about being flawless. It's about resilience, the ability to keep trying, to keep improving, and to keep evolving, no matter how many times we stumble along the way. Moreover, striving for excellence brings a sense of pride and fulfillment. When we give our best effort and see progress, we experience a deep sense of satisfaction. This satisfaction comes from knowing that we are continually growing and improving, and that our hard work is paying off. Unlike perfectionism, which often leaves us feeling empty and dissatisfied, the pursuit of excellence brings a sense of purpose and accomplishment. We can take pride in the fact that we are constantly evolving, learning, and striving to be better. And that, in itself, is enough. Ultimately, it's about giving our all in everything we do, continually challenging ourselves, and recognizing that there will always be room for growth. Excellence is not about being perfect. It's about doing our best, learning from our mistakes, and growing through each experience. By focusing on excellence rather than perfection, we can create a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and rich in personal growth. And, most importantly, we give ourselves the freedom to fail, learn, and continue evolving without the pressure to be flawless.